Welcome to the Manifesting Formula. I'm Christine Rizzo. Before we get into today's episode, which is part 2 of the lessons learned from Byron Katie, I wanted to let you all know that I released the mini course I was telling you all about. It's called the 5 Simple Steps to Attracting Everything You Want. And it's so good, my friends. There are 6 modules with so much content for you to take in. And guess what? It's only $44. Yes, you heard that correctly. $44. So go to www.thelifecoach.academy to start taking the course, because not only are you going to love it, it's going to blow your mind. Hello, my beautiful friends. How are you this week? Have you had any aha moments or any, holy crap, I just manifested that? I would love to hear your stories so I could read them on an episode. How cool would that be? Listening to other people's stories about what they have manifested into their life, especially the stories of our listeners. So, if you have a story that you are wanting to tell, I would love for you to send it to me at christinerizzo@christinerizzo.com. And I promise I will read it on one of my upcoming episodes. Also, I am super excited to share this all with you. I have just released my first mini course called 5 Simple Steps to Attracting Everything You Want. And it's only $44, my friends. Yes, you heard that correctly, $44. The content is filled with an abundant amount of knowledge on manifesting. We will get deeper into the universal laws, as well as your thoughts, your energy, your intuition, awareness, and so much more. You can head on over to www.thelifecoach.academy to access the course. I will leave the link in the show notes. I'm so excited for you to get your hands on this because this course is pretty fucking amazing. You are going to love it. Get those journals out, my friends. It's time to add a few affirmations to your list. Are you ready? Here we go. Number 1, I will focus on changing myself and what I have control of. Number 2, the best investment I made was investing in myself. Oh, that is so very true for me. Number 3, I will live and think as if I'm already where I want to be. And number 4, my mistakes help me learn. Okay, before we get into today's episode, I wanted to ask you all, what are you grateful for? Being grateful is one of the most important keys to your power. As I've mentioned before, without gratitude, you are powerless. Well, at least to attracting the things that you want into your life. So tell me, my friends, what are you grateful for today? Think about it and feel the joy that flows through your body. Today, I'm grateful for working my ass off to create a bunch of different courses that I can share with the world. I'm grateful that I keep going by pushing myself and by making sure that I choose the right mindset for what I'm wanting to accomplish. And my friends, I don't stop until I've gotten to where I want to be. So, last week we talked about the first 5 lessons that I learned from Byron Katie. Today, I'm going to tell you the rest of the lessons I learned from this amazing woman. As I mentioned in last week's episode, this woman has literally changed my life with her knowledge, though I had to take it in and apply it for my eyes to see differently. So, here we go. The 6th lesson that I learned from Byron Katie is that everything happens for me, not to me. Again, these are just thoughts that you can choose to believe or not. But when you believe this, when you believe that everything happens for you, it really changes the way you see the world. Because when you see something happening, you're like, oh, this is for me. Even though it may not look that way now, this is definitely for me, which then you can start looking for ways that it is for you. And you can start exploring what you can learn from it and how it can make you stronger and what you can use from it. You want to ask yourself, how can I learn from this? I know it's for me. I know I'm going through this because it's meant for me to go through. How can I learn from this experience? Instead of letting the experience of what is happening tear you down and put you in a victim mode, which is what most of us wind up doing. Instead, you want to start looking at it in a way that's much more positive and self serving. You want to start looking at life in a more positive light. Everything happens for me, not to me. So you can feel good about it, knowing there are lessons that we all need to learn in life. Be open to learning and feeling good about the experiences that you go through, knowing they are meant for you. One of my favorite lessons that I've learned, and I've used this a lot in my coaching sessions, as well as I've mentioned this in my book, Unleash Your Inner Goddess. Byron Katie says there are 3 kinds of business. There's my business, the universe's business, and your business. She asks all the time, whose business are you in? A lot of the times we're in other people's business, telling them what they should do, how they should live, how they should speak to us, how they should run their lives, how they should behave, what job they should have, how hard they should work, when they should take the trash out. That, my friends, is when we are in someone else's business. And then there are a lot of times when we're in God's or the universe's business. There shouldn't be wars. There shouldn't be hurricanes or earthquakes. This person shouldn't have died. This person shouldn't have been born. This person shouldn't be the way that they are. That's God's business, being in the universe's business. Then there's our own business. And when you really start doing this work, you will realize that 50%, or maybe even more, I would say 60% of the time, you'll notice you're all in your head, up in someone else's business, trying to run their life and fix it. You are trying to control their life because you think you would do a better job at directing them. And the funny part about all of this is that we have a hard enough time trying to control our own lives, trying to figure out our own life and all the nonstop chatter going on in our minds. One of the questions you can ask yourself is, whose business am I in? Remember that the only space where you really have any control is in your own business. And that's where you're going to feel the most empowered, when you stay in your own business. You see, most of our stress comes from when we are mentally living out of our own business. Our power comes from living in our own business because we have the power to control ourselves if we choose to. But when we choose to be in other people's business, that, my friends, is what causes us so much stress because we don't have any control there. The next lesson that I learned was that suffering is a natural alarm, warning us that we are attaching ourselves to a thought that is causing us to suffer. We come to accept that suffering is an inevitable part of life. And I have to be honest, it's not, my friends. Suffering is our natural alarm from the universe, from our Creator, warning us that we are attaching ourselves to a particular thought. I wanted to repeat that first part again because I believe that all of our feelings are signals. They're telling us what we're thinking, and they are helping us to understand if we should be thinking the thought that we're choosing to think. If we're having a negative thought, we're going to have a negative emotion. If we are suffering in our lives, it's because we are thinking thoughts that is causing us to suffer. If we know that suffering is an alarm, a red flag, and it's warning us that we're attaching ourselves to a thought, we can then pay attention to what that thought is and then possibly be able to change it. When we're not aware that our suffering is coming from a thought that we are attached to, then we don't understand that we have the power over the suffering, and we just continue to let ourselves suffer. Byron Katie has taught me that if I am suffering from a thought that I'm choosing to think, that the suffering is always optional, and that I just need to inquire about the thought that I have that is causing me to suffer. I need to become aware of what is going on in my mind and knowing that it's just a signal, a natural alarm from our Creator, that it's time to do some thought work on myself. This has truly opened me up to a life that is free from any kind of suffering. Another favorite lesson that Byron Katie speaks about is that a thought is harmless unless we believe it. So, we have thousands and thousands of thoughts per day, right? We have other people's opinions, which create thoughts within us. We have what's happening in the world, which creates more thoughts. And our mind has to then decide which of our thoughts are important and which of those to believe. A thought is going to appear in your mind. It's harmless, and you don't need to judge it or try and hide it by avoiding it unless you believe it. And believing a belief is a choice. It's a conscious choice that you can make. So when you notice a negative belief that you have, like, I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, or I don't know what I'm doing, I never do. Any of those thoughts that you come up with that don't serve you and feel horrible, you can actually decide whether or not you're going to believe them. The same is so very true with thoughts that other people give to us. All negative things that they say about us and to us, all the judgments that we then make about ourselves and about others. My friends, they are totally harmless unless we choose to believe them. Knowing that you have a choice to believe whatever you want to believe, you get to decide if you want to keep those thoughts as something that you're going to continue to practice and believe. Now, I will say when you have a belief that you have practiced for a long time, that you believe very deeply, where it's your truth, letting it go, it's not as simple as saying, oh, I don't want to believe that anymore. You first have to recognize that it's just a thought you're believing. Go back to episodes 4 and 5, why manifesting isn't always easy and how your ego gets in the way of manifesting. I give detailed tips on how to let go of your beliefs. The reason why we have to first recognize that our belief is just a thought is because some of our thoughts are so ingrained in us that we don't even know that they're optional. We don't even know that the thought that we're having is something that we're choosing to have, whether we're thinking it consciously or unconsciously. So, the first step is really recognizing, hey, wait a minute, that's just a thought. That's not reality. That's just something I'm choosing to think. Then and only then can you decide whether you want to continue believing it or not. Many people want to hang on to these deep rooted beliefs because they have become part of their identity. And to change their belief system that they've been practicing for so many years is requiring them to prove themselves wrong. It's challenging you to prove that maybe your parents were wrong, that society is wrong, that many people are wrong. And that's what's so difficult for us, especially if the subconscious has become very skilled at thinking a thought and believing it. The only way to change a deep rooted belief that you are so tied to is to realize that you have the power to change your thinking, that they are just thoughts that you are choosing to believe, and that they are optional. Then you need to go to work on trying on new thoughts that will serve you better. That's how we fix the things that we don't like in our lives. We find and locate the thoughts and beliefs that we've been thinking for so many years, and we educate ourselves to know that they are just thoughts. They're not true, they're optional. The truth is, what makes something true is whether you believe it or not. And if you believe something, you will manifest that and make it true. That's why, my friends, I am not here to just talk about manifesting because it is so much deeper than that. You have to learn how to let go of what isn't serving you. You have to break down the wall that you have built around you that is keeping you from attracting what you want into your life. Now, there's some things that we believe that feel amazing. Why would we change them? The belief serves us. But there are also things that if you aren't aware that you believe that are causing you to feel pain. Any negative belief that is causing you pain is a thought that you may want to consider changing. As I tell my clients, and I've mentioned this to you all before, any negative thoughts or beliefs that you have about yourself or about anyone else are all fucking lies. And the last lesson that I wanted to share with you all today, I'm going to refer back to the work, which is what Byron Katie is very known for. Within the work, she's referring to the 4 questions and the turnaround that I mentioned in last week's episode. The work reveals that what you think shouldn't have happened should have happened. It should have happened because it did. And no thinking in the world can change that. This doesn't mean that you condone or approve it. It just means that you can see things without trying to resist reality and without the confusion of your internal struggle. If you can see things without resistance and you don't attach a story to it, then you can just let it be. All of our thinking is now. So any painful story that you have about your past is on you. You're the one causing yourself the pain in this moment. The painful thing that happened to you in the past is not happening today. And the reason why it's still causing you pain is because you're believing that it shouldn't have happened. You're believing that if it hadn't happened, you'd be in a different place. This builds on the whole idea that you know what was supposed to happen did happen because it did. Everything happens for us, not to us. How do you know it should have happened? Because it did happen. And when we fight with reality, we will only lose but 100% of the time. Byron Katie is not suggesting that you believe that it shouldn't have happened and you forgive it. She's suggesting that you accept that it happened because it did happen. With being able to accept this, you are able to release any argument of it happening. I will say, of all the things that Byron Katie has taught me, what she taught me that really resonated the deepest with me was that nothing outside of us causes us any problem. It's always our thoughts, which happens to be the first part of the formula. Circumstances are the things outside of us, and they don't cause the problem. It's always our thoughts that cause the problem. Sit with that a little while and let that sink in. If you take away your thought, everything would be okay. Our thoughts create our feelings, which drive our actions that create our outcome, all of our results in life. Remember that a thought is actually harmless until we choose to believe it. And all of our problems come from our thoughts. Thank you all for listening to the Manifesting Formula, and thank you for telling your friends and family about this podcast. We are getting out there, my friends, and we are spreading around the world. As of today, we have over 44,000 downloads. We are in over 100 countries/territories, and we are being listened to in over 2,950 cities throughout the world. Crazy exciting, my friends. You have no idea. Don't forget, if you leave a 5-star review on either Apple Podcasts or on Audible, I will read your review in one of my episodes. Also, remember to go check out my new course, The 5 Simple Steps to Attracting Everything You Want. I will leave the link in the show notes. It's only $44, my friends. That's right. Daniel chose that number. Have a beautiful day wherever you are in the world. Sending you all so much love, peace, and abundance. And if no one has told you today, I love you. See you next week. Bye. My friends, if you are interested in one-on-one coaching, I would love to work with you so you can start manifesting everything you have ever wanted. You can visit my website at www.christinerizzo.com to find out all about my 16-week coaching program. Or you can press on the link in the show notes that says one-on-one coaching. It will bring you to my calendar where you can sign up for a 30-minute free coaching session. So if you want to go deeper with manifesting, click the link and sign up for your free session. I look forward to meeting you and helping you create the life you deserve.